Aloha everybody, welcome to Imperfect Origami. So we're doing we're gonna make a balloon or a ball made entirely of paper that you can actually inflate. It's gonna look kind of like this, a little something you can play around with. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do today, instead of starting with a square or regular piece of origami paper, we're going to start with something just like computer printer paper. You can do it with binder paper, you can do it really with anything. Just going to show you a simple way of going ahead and turning this into a square and actually using that as part of the process here. So, starting off, we're going to go ahead and take one corner and one edge here. We're going to fold it along this line so that it sits right here. So we're going to fold it down and we're going to line it up as best as possible. I like to do that partial crease without making it firm. And then once it looks good or good enough, it's never perfect, go ahead and make that crease a little firmer with the thumbnail. Alright, now open that back up. Now I work from right to left just because I'm right-handed and it's a little bit easier for me to do this fold. So again, I'm going to now take this, I went this way, I'm going to now fold it back this way. I just am going to spin that paper around just because I tend to have a little bit more control. Go ahead and we can actually kind of put that right where that crease is. It should be close enough. Do that gentle fold to get it close. And from there, go ahead and make that crease. Go ahead and make it a little bit firmer. All right. So we got two folds so far, and now really all we want to do is we want to remove this part of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. You can fold it if you'd like. You can fold it towards the other one. I like to fold it away. All I want to do is fold it right along that line. So we remove, so all we're left with is a square. I like to fold it back. It allows me to see. Obviously, you see, like anything else, nothing here that I do is perfect, and it doesn't need to be. So once I have this fold, I'll give you a pause just to go ahead and catch up. All right, and so now with this fold here, I'm going to go ahead and just fold it back this way, the opposite direction, and go ahead and use that nail to kind of make that crease nice and firm. And I'm going to go back, and now I can do this a handful of times. I can go back and forth. Really, I just want to weaken the paper along that because I'm going to actually just pull it apart, really, once you get it weak enough. Now, one of the other tricks to getting this weak is you can either put a little bit of water right there on the edge, just that much. You can put a little water there. You could use saliva instead. You can lick it. You can get a little saliva on the finger. I'm going to go ahead and just got my finger wet just briefly with a little bit of saliva there. And just the slightest amount. Just kind of run it along the edge right there. So go back and refold it again. Just make sure it's nice and creased as good as possible. And now from this point, now I should be able to just kind of pull this apart. So I'm going to go ahead and start up near the side and just apply a little pressure out. And once I get that started, I like to actually just push down kind of on the table to keep it flat and kind of get that tear nice and evil. Nice and even, not evil. Yeah, evil if you want. So from here, gonna go ahead and flip this piece of paper over. You can always push down on that center. Sometimes it'll make it kind of pop up a little bit. But what I now want, I have these cross diagonal creases. I want a crease that's gonna go this way and this way. So I'll start here and we'll make that crease. And always remember, you're doing your best no matter how it comes out. If it's perfect, if it's not, if you need to restart. The first time I did this, I forgot how to fold it and had to restart the entire video. And then the next time the video didn't register, and I'm going to go ahead and fold this over on this side. You will notice that I did flip that paper over from the diagonal folds, the diagonal cross folds to the kind of perpendicular folds. And so you see it kind of pops up. What I want to do is I want to flip that back over one more time and push down firmly on the center so it creates a little natural point. And I'll notice that this now has a tendency to fold in. Really from either side it'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and fold that in, bring that down, kind of make those folds firm. Give you a moment to catch up here just in case you need to. All right, now we have these 4 corners, 2 over here and 2 over here. We're going to take each one of these loose corners and we're going to fold it up just there so it meets that. So this is going to get folded up, and then we're going to flip it over and do the same on the other side. You go at whatever pace you need, but I'm going to go ahead and make the fold and then do a little bit of a firmer crease. Go ahead and make the fold here. Do a little bit of a firmer crease like this. Flip it over, and again on this side, go ahead and make a fold and do a little bit of a firmer crease, and one last time. So I'm going to end up with a square. I'm going to show you where I'm at, give you a moment to catch up here. So this is how we started, and we just fold them all 4 of those corners. So now we actually have, on one side we have the main point, and then we have these 4 corners. Okay. If you need to take a moment, pause the video here, go ahead and catch up. There's no rush. You're not falling behind. You're doing exactly what you need to do. Now, I'm going to take this, so not from where all of the points are, but from this other side, from these 2 sides, I'm going to fold these in. I'm going to fold it just kind of in half, have this meet the center line. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. I can get it as close as I can without worrying about it, and there we go. I'm going to do this on all 4, fold this side in, so we get this shape here, and I'm going to flip this whole thing over and do it again. So again, folding these in right to that middle line. See, it's not perfect, and that is perfect. Imperfection is perfection. That is the name of this. I'm going to fold this one in as well. All right. Now we can flip this over and over. It's all good. Now we still have all these points on this side, and we got kind of a single point down here. So the side that we have all the points on, if you're not there yet, take a moment, pause, go back. I've had to do that multiple times with many videos. It's perfectly good. It's part of the learning process. So now you'll see the part that we folded in. The side that's facing these points has this little slit, has a little place. So if you want, you can slide a finger in there so you really see it. You don't need to quite make it that big. All we're going to be doing is taking the point that's closest to this, and we're going to fold it in right here. Now I kind of do this little rolling technique, so I can get it as far down as it can, but you'll notice it can't go all the way in without bending on the inside because it ends up hitting there. So that's good right there. And I'm going to do it again on all 4. So make that little space, go ahead and slide it in, get that little roll of action, and go ahead and get it just like this. And I'm going to flip it over and do the same on this side. Now if you wonder why I'm going so fast when just that first time is taking you a long time, it's because I keep doing this. I've done it over and over again. So just remember, I always have a voice in my head that tends to talk nonstop, and it doesn't say very nice things. That's the roommate, that's the intruder, and it lives in there and it says things like, oh, you're not doing it fast enough, you're not doing it good enough, you're not perfect, it doesn't look quite the same, oh, you had to go back and pause. Well, none of those things are true. So part of this practice of doing origami is also getting present in the moment and realizing that whatever I think is not necessarily true. So from this point, we can see if we fold it back and forth, we now have kind of one main point there and one main point here, and it should look just like this. Now, it's fairly flat. I want to go ahead and kind of slide my fingers in here, and I don't need to firmly crease it, but I'm going to do just a little bit of pressure just to kind of balance it out. So it's got a little bit more of that forward triangle shape. Now you'll notice the point where we have on this side where we folded down, that point is solid, there's nothing there. But if we flip it over and we look at this point, there's actually a hole. And that is actually where we're going to go ahead and inflate. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the camera or not, but I literally am going to just put my lips right up to there and blow it kind of like a balloon. There we go. Boom. Ta-da! So you'll see the part where we blew in, there's a little hole there, and that's where we can inflate and re-inflate. And that is it. We can play toss, we can play catch, we can play around with it. Now the fun part about this is you can actually deflate it again. So not the side where we have these nice pretty folds, but on this other side where there was just that crease, I can go ahead and just kind of push down on that crease. And what really, it's easiest to do it kind of both sides at the same time. So kind of reform that crease, and sometimes you'll notice like this, it doesn't stay perfect on the bottom, and I can use my nail to try and flatten it out. It's about as best as I'm going to get it. So now it's deflated again, and if we want, we can inflate it. All right, that's all. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you like what you saw, remember, imperfection is perfection. There's no use thinking that you're doing anything wrong or bad. It's all an opportunity to learn, to play, and have fun.